Hello, welcome back to my corridors. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my corridors. Today I'm going to be sharing my concert story time for Exhorder. And just a note, my videos are not just going to be concert story times. I just want to make ones for the bigger bands because this year just happens to be the year that I've been going to the most concerts. Isn't that crazy? But anyway, I'll start. For y'all who don't know, Exhorder is like a thrash groove metal band from New Orleans, and they're pretty big here in the South, and I was pretty shocked to find that out. But anyway, they're really good. And the show was in Vicksburg. It was at a place called the Watermark, and I had never been there. It's a really good venue. I really like it. A lot of people have weddings there, and I guess that's cool. But it's a really decent place, and I pretty much know the majority of people who go to these shows, so yeah. And like the bands that I've already seen, like that I'm friends with, they opened up for them. Plague Burner opened up for them. Die with Nature opened up for Exhorder, and Measureless Aeons and opened up for them, and those guys are really cool. But anyway, I drove to Vicksburg. It wasn't that harsh of a drive. It was pretty easy to get there. I drove there listening to Dream Theater because I've started to really get into Dream Theater. I never officially explored the prog metal genre until now, but I really like prog metal. Hopefully I don't become one of those stereotypical prog heads. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah. So I was looking for a place to park, and you know, some of those places were like all backed up in the parking lot, and I couldn't find a place to park. By luck, I was like getting out. I was going to get back onto the street and find a parking space, and I saw the guys from Measureless Aeons walking on the sidewalk, and I rolled down my window and yelled, "Hey!" And they were happy to see me, and they remembered me. And I'm like, and they told me where to park, and that was really helpful. And yeah, no, just they were very happy to see me, and just by luck I saw them. But yeah, I parked and put on my vest. I don't wear my vest on my way to a show because I like to keep it as immaculate as possible. So I'll leave it in the back seat of my car, and then when I get there I put it on. So yeah. So, and when I was looking for a parking space, I passed by the Exhorder tour bus, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I know I'm in the right place. I didn't even know they had their own tour bus, and that's cool. But yeah, no, I knew it was the right place when I saw the tour bus. So yeah, I found a place to park, and I walked over to the venue, and all my friends were happy to see me, and that was really cool. And I got there, and I didn't have to show them my ticket because I was like already on the list of people who bought a ticket, and they put one of those little tight bracelets on me. I don't like them to a degree, the ones that are made of paper and they stick it on you. Sometimes they're just so tight that they cut off my circulation, and I don't like that. But maybe it's just me. But yeah, no, as long as I have that on, you know, I can leave and, you know, go back and forth and exit the building and come back. And I asked them where's a good place to get food, and one of them told me that it was like a couple not a couple blocks, but like a couple like buildings away. So I walked down to this like local pizza beer place. And what do you know? The guys from Measureless Aeons were in the restaurant by coincidence because I was hungry and I saw they had pizza, and I'm like, okay, I'll get some. And they saw me, and they invited me to sit with them, and that was just so nice of them. And I just goofed around with them, laughed with them, and I got like a leek pizza. Leeks are onions. They had vegetarian options, and I thought that's like really cool when they have like indications that they have vegetarian options. You know, I just goofed around with them, and they were gonna be the first band playing, so I knew that I wasn't late. Yeah, I just goofed around with them, and that was so cool. And I don't normally get to sit with people at restaurants. I'm usually going by myself, so they were nice enough to let me sit with them, and that was really cool. So I was also informed by one of their members, his name is Ansley, that the Sunflower Oven's not like permanently closing. They're trying to keep it open to where shows can happen there still. So I don't know how that's working, but yeah, he informed me that. So hopefully the Sunflower Oven technically still will be open for shows. And maybe it won't be called the Sunflower Oven, but hopefully it'll still be available for these bands to play. But yeah. um, and those guys in Measureless Aeons are so funny. I just laughed with them, and that's probably the hardest I've laughed in a while. And I walked back with them. I'm glad I didn't have to walk back to the Watermark alone. So yeah, I walked back with them, and that was cool. And I saw my friends Joe and Chance, and Joe gave me a bunch of cassette tapes. I'll get them out and show everybody later. I don't want to get them out right now. Yeah, the first band that played was Measureless Aeons, and as always, they're good. For those who don't know, they're from Jackson, and they're blackened post-metal. They told me their favorite band is Alcest, and they sound a lot like Alcest. And they're always really good. All the starter bands didn't play that long. They probably played only about 30 minutes, obviously, giving space for Exhorder. And everyone there was really happy everyone I knew was happy to see me, and that makes me feel good. Yeah, Measureless Aeons played, and they were always good. So yeah, for like the future videos with the local bands playing, I'll just kind of summarize, because I've already seen them a couple times, some more than others. So for the future, I'll just say this band was good as always. So yeah. Because a couple of them are going to be opening up for I Hate God next week, and I'm going to go see them at Hal and Mal's, so yeah. Yeah. I saw the Exhorder merch booth, and I tried to get a tour shirt, because one of the dates on the back was Vicksburg, Mississippi, and I don't have enough tour shirts, and I couldn't get my hands on one, because they were like almost out of them, and they didn't have one in my size. They didn't even have a medium, and that disappointed me. Y'all are probably wondering, why didn't you get another shirt? Because I'm oddly picky about what kind of shirts I want. Like, y'all have no idea. Like, I'm oddly particular about the merch that I want. And if I don't get it, gosh, I get so disappointed. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but maybe it's just a me thing. But, yeah. And I saw that Pat O'Brien was going to be playing with them, because on the merch booth they had like guitar picks for him, and my friend Josh, the drummer Plague Burner, I looked at him like, because he was at the merch booth with the merch lady, and I looked at him and said, "Didn't Pat O'Brien get arrested?" That's the first thing I ask, and the merch lady's like, "Not recently." So, for those who are not aware, and I heard the story when it first was announced. I was 17 when I first heard it. It was like late 2018. I was a senior in high school. I don't remember the whole story. I'm gonna have to go back and look, but he got arrested for like assault and burglary. So, yeah, that was kind of. I totally forgot about that. I kind of forgot about Pat O'Brien after a while. So, but yeah, no, I was reminded of that when I saw that he was playing with Exhorder. I hadn't kept track of the members of Exhorder, so I am so sorry if I'm kind of lacking in the knowledge of that. So, I'm sorry. But yeah, no, I was just, and no, quite a few of my friends and I were talking about that, like, and like one of the members of Measureless Aeons, apparently Pat O'Brien was at the bar at the restaurant we were eating at, and one of them sat with him, and Pat, I guess, brought that up, that, yeah, about getting arrested. So yeah, that happened. So I'm gonna have to go back and read the story, but I got to meet Pat O'Brien at the show, and I'll get back to that in a minute, because he was really nice, and I was a little surprised, and I was like, when I walked up to him and talked to him, I was like, that's the same Pat O'Brien who got arrested? So yeah, I'll get back to that in a little bit. But I couldn't get myself a shirt, but I got myself a sticker, and I'll put it on my car. I really love the purple. I don't have enough purple when it comes to metal merch. I need some. But yeah, I got Derek a shirt, though. And He really wanted this one. Or he wasn't exactly sure, but I bought it anyway because I wanted to be sweet. There's nothing on the back. Anyway, no, that's just the only 2 merch I got at the show. Um, but yeah, Measureless Aeons was good. Die with Nature played, and they're always good. That's probably the band I've seen probably the most. I've seen them like 4 times now. Yeah, and I'm always chatting with their members. And apparently, their kids, like the frontman Michael and his wife, their kids, they like see me and like, there's that girl. She's always at the shows, and they must like really like me or something. And that is so cool that their kids like remember me all the time, and they really like they like admire me, and they love my vest, and they always see me at these shows. But yeah, no, I just that's yeah, no, his wife was telling me, and she like I chatted with her, but I officially like got her name now. Her name is Christy. So yeah, she was the same one who saw my Shadow Clan pin and thought it was Brack. But yeah, no, their kids like really like me. I'm that girl to them, and that's just so funny. But yeah, that's cool. I still have some of the Die with Nature hot sauce. I put it on my noodles. I put it on my veggies. I put it on lots of things. I'm not like a big hot sauce fan, but that stuff is really good. But yeah, Die with Nature was good as always. Plague Burner, those guys are always good. Those guys are cool. I'm hanging out with them all the time. So, and I'm gonna see their members again next week when I go see I Hate God. So, yeah, you know, they're good. Then Exhorder played, and they probably played the longest, and that was incredible. And I love like thrash metal, like groove metal shows like that. I hadn't been to a thrash show in so long, but anyway, it kind of reminded me of why I loved it in the beginning. You know, going through like in high school, that was like the only like subgenre of metal. Like that was like the subgenre of metal that I saw the most as a teenager going to shows. To the very few shows that I went to, because I was living in the Bay Area, and the Bay Area was like big, and like that's like where thrash metal was big, obviously, because that's where all those bands are from. I'm just messing with my belt. So yeah, it reminded me of why I loved those shows to begin with. So yeah, no, all my friends were in the mosh pit, and they weren't hitting or kicking each other, no karate in the pit, but it was pretty fun. And it was so fun seeing a pit, like, and seeing all my friends. I wanted to join them, but I was wearing my vest and wearing jewelry, and I didn't mentally prepare for that, but so maybe one day. That was pretty fun. Bags Hoarder was really good. They were so fun to see live. And, you know, I didn't even think they would come to Vicksburg or even anywhere in Mississippi, but they did. But, you know, they really got the crowd going, and they were so fun to watch, and hopefully they'll come back. And I think I got another picture with one of their members. His name is Kyle Thomas, I think. Yeah, he told me hopefully they'll soon be back in Mississippi. Hopefully in Vicksburg or at least Jackson. But yeah. And I was headbanging and, you know, having a good time. Yeah, just those shows are so fun. And so when their set ended, the first person that got off the stage that I got to talk to was Pat O'Brien. And he introduced himself to me, and I got a picture with him, and he's very tall. But yeah, no, when I talked to him, I couldn't even believe that he was the same guy who used to be in Cannibal Corpse, and he got into that controversy. Like, he was so nice. He was like so polite. He wasn't mean. He wasn't like acting crazy or weird. He was just so chill, and I'm just like, you know, it's like hard to believe that he did all that because he's so nice. But you know, I got to talk to him for a brief second and get a picture with him, and he was just so nice. So yeah, that was cool. I got to meet Pat O'Brien. So yeah, that was cool. And I told him my boyfriend's a big fan of y'all, and he, you know, he couldn't come tonight, so I'll tell him you said hello. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, definitely say hello. Definitely say hello. And like, he was sad to hear that Derek couldn't be there, because Derek really loves Exhorder. And I wish he had been there, and I'm sad that he didn't come. But yeah, and I got to talk to Kyle Thomas, and he was really cool too, and I told him the same thing. Yeah, y'all are really, really good. My boyfriend's a big fan of you, and, you know, he couldn't come, sadly, so I'll tell him you said hello. He's like, oh man, that's sad. Yeah, so I got a picture with him too. Um, Quite a few people, of course, complimented my vest as well, and I love it when people compliment my vest. Um, so the I I don't know if I mentioned they ran out of so much merch. They were almost out of like their merch, and they were out of the tour shirts because they opened up for Acid Bath, and the Acid Bath show made a lot of their merch kind of wipe clean. So that's why I didn't get my hands on a tour shirt. But anyway, it's not the end of the world, but it would have been cool if I could have gotten one. But the sticker makes it up. So I'll put it on the back of my car. But yeah, I had a good time. I said goodbye to my friends and I told them I'll see you next week because I'm going to go see I Hate God. And a lot of them are, most of them are, all of them are probably going to be there. So it's gotten to where, like, I went from being a stranger and going through these shows by myself to knowing everybody there. So that's rather funny. But anyway, that's it. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Sorry this was so quick, but yeah, it was a good time. I had a good time seeing Exhorder. They were really good. I highly recommend them. But yeah, that was it. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, whatever. And I'll see you all later and stay metal.